everyone. Paul Ferguson here with Richard Beaupre. Welcome to day 13, the semifinals of the 1993 World Ice Hockey Championships. Sweden against the Czech Republic. The winners skate into the final on Sunday against the winners of our live game this evening between Canada and Russia. What a game this is going to be. It'll be a battle that will go the full 60 minutes. Tommi ＳÖDERSTRÖM at one end, Peder BRŽIZA at the other end. BRŽIZA has been hot. ＳÖDERSTRÖM has come from the NHL. And up front, defensively, the Czechs have to be stronger. Gudas, Holland, Kadlec, Serban, Staviana, and Horva are better defensemen than the Swedes are putting out today. That's a known fact. Who's got the better goal scorers? We'll have to wait and see. Zemlička is out for the Czech Republic, so they're going to rely on Rosol, Kastak, Hostak, Janečky, Kapusta. All these guys can put the puck in the net, but the Swedes, well, they certainly have their fair share of young goal scorers.
We know that the Swedes can score goals, but I think Söderström's going to need a big game. BRŽIZA has been very steady in the Czech net, and I feel that the Czechs are stronger defensively than Sweden. A few of the Czech defensemen are stars in the Premier Swedish League. They're no strangers to these Swedes. The Swedes have received a bit of bad publicity for their loss to the Swiss, a game that nobody felt they should have lost. Can their defense hold out? Söderström is going to have to be hot.
The Swedes are the current world champions and have been for the last 2 years. Can they pick up the third in a row? Rundqvist gets set for the final. The word is that Rundqvist is playing for a place on a Swiss team. He knows that he's not welcome back in Färjestad. The guy's 32 years old, and the Swedes feel they got to go with youth. They certainly have a lot of talented, youthful players out there. The Czechs playing from left to right in red. Kadlec throws it up through the center. That'll be an icing call. No, it got a tip. The Russian linesman let it go as that comes into the near side. Tapped right in front, a chance. Dolezal tipped it just wide. Herbeck was standing right beside him. They couldn't get the lumber on it.
Leading goal scorers for the Czechs, Rosol with 7 points. Hostak and Kastak, his line mates, each have 6. Dolezal's there with 4 points.
Holland squeezed out of the play on the far side. Nylander still with it on the backhand side to the top of the circle. A weak shot comes in right in front. They score! Berglund took a shot. BRŽIZA did not see that until it went into the net.
Bounces and breaks, that's a big part of ice hockey, and the Swedes get the first bounce and the first break. The Czechs coming close at the other end of the ice. The play goes into BRŽIZA's zone. Anderson has a crack. 22 right in front of the goal. Charles Berglund buries it for the first goal. Sweden quickly on the scoreboard.
Magnificent start to this game for the Swedes, and in particular Charles Berglund. First goal of the competition. 1:03 the time of the goal. That's shot all the way down the ice. And the Czechs will start to bring it out.
It's going to be very difficult to hear the whistle. The referee only has one whistle. There are thousands of people whistling in the crowd. The players are going to have to really listen closely.
The referee is from Canada, Д.Лорас. And the Swedes again apply the pressure. The shot, the backhander coming from number 19, Marcus Neslin. And BRŽIZA will want to have a word with his defense out there. They're standing around, not moving these guys when they're in front of the net.
A new score, Sweden 1, Czech Republic.
Naslin, Forsberg, Renberg, the 3 kids that everybody's talking about in Germany. They're all on their way to the NHL. Nylander, who has a season now in the NHL, and it wasn't a brilliant one, getting involved quickly. The guy is leading the team with a goal and 6 assists. Right on the attack is Naslin, getting his first opportunity of the game.
Over to the far side, the shot comes in, BRŽIZA goes down. Kapusta tries to move it up along the boards. That's taken off his stick. Staviana feeds it over to the near side, and the Czechs with Kadlec feeding it up only as far as the blue line. picked up by now by Baranek. Baranek backhands it to Srbin. Srbin slows it down. The return pass up on the wing to Baranek. Tupal is in there with them. Two Czechs going forward. This seems to be the order of the day. Baranek, Kapusta, and Tupal. Larson tried to move in and move that away up the side. And this play is whistled down.
Kapusta manhandled behind the goal by Blomsten. The Swedes trying to be aggressive. We mentioned defense being one of their most vulnerable points. Quickly, Blomsten makes his way to the penalty box. The Czechs, with a power play opportunity, have scored 7 times with a man advantage in this tournament. They're currently ranked 5th with power play opportunities.
Blomsten really roughing it up behind the goal. Passes over the line for Kadlec. Roughing is the call on Blomsten. Kadlec eventually gets it up. Good job there by the Swedes as that comes all the way down.
The danger line on the ice for the Czechs. Russell, Hastak, Kostak.
Holland tips that to Herbeck. Herbeck off the boards into neutral ice territory. The Czechs bring it all the way back in. And Dolezal throws it up. Anderson just taps it over the line. Kadlec, Dolezal going back for the Czechs. Dolezal drops it off, and Janecki now has a go. Janecki hits the blue. Not a great pass from him. Herbeck picks it up and taps it into the corner. Good stuff from both teams going at it from this opening face-off. Boy, they're throwing the lumber around. They're throwing the muscle around. Ulf Dolan. Dolan breaks in on Holland. Dolezal has to get back to clear it into the corner.
The Czechs changing their line quickly on the fly, getting Dolezal's unit out there, possibly to have more muscle against the Swedes.
Dolan put that right in front of the net. They've got a man in the box for 47 seconds. And the Czechs unable to get this power play going. Russell goes out there now as he breaks to the far side. Kostak threw it over. Gudas pumps it back into the corner. Popovic is in there, the big number 3 for the Swedes. Over to this side to Kostak. Horva. Big shot coming in. Söderström really hasn't been tested as Russell picks it up, puts it back. Horva, nice little deflection. Kostak in front. The deflection by Hostak is just wide of the far post. And the Swedes casually shoot it out with Popovic getting the stick on it.
Cheeky move by Horva almost pays off as Hastak and Kostak nearly do their thing.
Blomsten steps back on the ice. The Swedes are at full strength. Russell hits the red line, moves into center. Russell still stick handling nicely, comes up against Kenholt, and he shoots it down the ice. Icing is the call. We'll have a face-off in Swedish territory.
Just as everyone expected, both teams coming out strong. The Swedes, the defending world champions. The Czechs, bronze medal holders from last year, looking to improve.
Well, we've heard from a reliable source that Stefan Edberg and Jakub Lasek, playing some tennis over in Madrid, are watching. We hope they're enjoying this. We know that 1 or 2 other tennis players are avid hockey fans, Bjorn Borg and Ivan Lendl. Ivan Lendl, in fact, wants to take over as commissioner of the NHL when he retires. The Czechs with Kapusta. Srbin, a weak shot on Söderström. He decides to smother that with number 24, Tupal, cruising through the crease. Good look at coach Ivan Linka. 260 national team caps as a player in what used to be Czechoslovakia. Spent some time with Vancouver and is in his 2nd year with the national team. That goes all the way down into Czech territory, and the Czechs, trailing by 1, started up. The Swedes are really skating in this first period. They know that they can't put in another performance like they did against the Swiss. The press were all over him after they lost that game.
It did take a lot of abuse. Rundqvist making comments that it would be difficult to repeat the Triple Crown, so to speak, in ice hockey, but he felt the Swedes are ready, and the big captain, number 9, is certainly going to give his all.
Larsson along the boards. Kapusta goes after him. Staviana picks it up for the Czechs. Staviana hits his own red line. The pass up the middle is a good one. And the Czechs are met at the red line. Tupal is hit. Tupal is hit again, and the Swedes shoot it back into Serban. Serban, Baranek tried to thread the eye of the needle. Tupal along with Dolezal. Dolezal pumps that to the far side. Going after it quickly is Renberg. Renberg couldn't get there first, and the Czechs pick it up in the Swede zone. Kenholt tries to move it out. He gets as far as the top of the circle, and the Swedes happy just to clear it out of the zone.
The Swedes are playing it tough in the neutral zone, not allowing the Czechs to wind it up. The defense are holding their positions and cutting off a lot of Czech passes.
Kadlec looking for the long pass, and that's intercepted in the neutral zone. Kadlec will try to do it again. Anderson couldn't get in there first. A one-on-one situation with Dolezal going up against Renberg. The shot from close in. Anderson was right there with the shot. Renberg doing a great job of forechecking behind the net for the Swedes.
Swedes quick to counter-attack. As soon as they've got the puck, they're going forward.
Anderson, another shot, this time from way out. Bržiža got the pad there. One or two Czechs standing around. Holland trying to put the muscle on Nylander. That shot away from Rundqvist, but only goes as far as Popovic. Popovic throws it back into the zone. Holland goes after his man. Ulf Dahlin is dumped onto the ice. Dolezal throws it up to Herbeck. Herbeck with Janecki, the long shot. Anderson got in front of it. A return pass coming in. That was nice. Janecki is right there. And Anderson got back to take it behind the goal.
The Czechs completing their line change. Nylander staying out for Sweden.
Nylander with the puck going up against Gudas. Gudas takes him out into the boards, but the Swedes hang on to the puck. Kastak behind the goal. That's right in front of the crease. Bržiža followed it. Gudas again after his man from close in. The shot coming from Dahlin. And Bržiža got the pad on it. Gudas smothers his man along the boards. Nylander cruises out front. Dahlin gets it out. The backhander to the far corner from Berglund goes nowhere as we approach the 8-minute mark. Nylander behind the net. Horvath ties him up nicely. 8 minutes gone in the period. Kastak eventually gets it as far as the hash marks. Bergqvist shot it in. The Czechs uncharacteristically giving the puck away in their own zone.
The Swedes are all over him, though. They are really applying a serious forecheck, not laying back in any kind of a zone whatsoever. They're really going all out to take the puck away from the Czech defenseman.
Kapusta had to delay his crossing of the blue line. A man well and truly over the blue. Going to have a penalty on the play here. It's going against the Swedes. Bržiža well out of his net to throw on an extra attacker. Bergqvist will sit for 2.
Second power play opportunity of the game for the Czechs. They need to capitalize. First power play, they hardly had anything going at Söderström.
Strafzeit Schweden. Der Spieler mit der Nummer 18, Jonas Bergqvist, erhält 2 Strafminuten für Haken. Zeit 8:30.
Face-off in neutral ice territory. Bergqvist in the box. Hooking is the call. And a breakdown in communications there with Kapusta losing at Kapusta with Serban standing around. I'm sure they're going to have words when the whistle blows. The Swedes take the puck and they'll just throw it around the ice.
The Swedes look a lot more relaxed and comfortable than the Czechs do. The Czechs coming into this game with 5 wins and a draw certainly shouldn't have any fear of the Swedes, but they don't look settled.
Shot from close in. Serban tries to get it out of harm's way, and he does. Serban casually throws it forward, and the Czechs with Kapusta. Kapusta and Baranek. Baranek now. Baranek slows it down from the hash marks, takes a shot. Oh, that came so close. Tupal was right there with the stick, and Serban can't keep it in. One or two shaky defensemen out there for the Czechs, unable to make the passes on the money. Tupal down the right side. Tupal taps it forward. The back pass to Baranek. Tupal, Dolezal. Dolezal. 40 seconds on the power play. Can they get a good shot in there? Holland took the shot, coming in again. Holland from way back at the blue, and that took a deflection. They score! Tupal goes over to congratulate. And Dolezal puts his hand in the air. Power play goal.
26. Yellow shirts all the way into the zone. The four men trying to set it up for the Swedes to kill the penalty off. The Czechs are quicker on it. Åkerström unable to clear, the puck coming off Söderström's pad. Dolezal is right there and he whacks it into the goal.
Der Spieler mit der Nummer 26,
Yuri Dolezal, who was one of the guys who was included in our top 5 goals of the competition earlier on, picks up a big goal for the Czech Republic midway through the first period to level the score.
Back to level terms. The teams are really going at it now. The Swedes have paid the price for the early penalties.
And assisted by number 24, Radek Kupal, and number 4,
Both teams are so quick around the front of the goal. It's been the key to their success. They don't waste any time getting the shots away. The Swedes, when they beat the US 5-2, were just drilling the puck every chance they had. Shot coming from the blue line. Söderström getting a leg out, holding on, not liking what he saw in front of him. Red shirts coming in for the rebound. Big shot taken. Leg save is there. Söderström holds on, face off to his right.
Hostak steps into the circle. Russell on the wing. Hostak couldn't get it back. Nylander tips it out over the blue. And that comes all the way back to 14, Fredrik Stillman. Stillman looking for somewhere to go as he works his way up, throws it up on the left side, and a chance now for 22, Berglund. Big shot coming in from Dolan. Brzeza came out, Russell wants the rebound, flips it forward. Here come the Czechs back on the attack. Another shot coming in. Hostak let it go wide of the target. End-to-end action as Dolan is hit by Russell, but not before Dolan gets it into the corner. Horva out of the zone. Forsberg backhands it into the top of the circle. Gudas on the near side hits the red and bangs it off the far boards. Söderström lets that one ride, and the Swedes come out in numbers. All the way up to number 18, Bergqvist. Bergqvist has Kapusta hooking him. Kapusta wants the puck. Kapusta eventually takes it. Serban takes Bergqvist. Some good stuff from the Swedes as they muscle forward. Forsberg doing a great job on the backhand. Gives it over to Naslund. Naslund left it in the corner. Serban, Kapusta. Serban for the Czechs gets it away from number 19, Naslund. And the Czechs now start to string one or two passes together, but it certainly is close checking in neutral ice territory. Tupal runs into problems with Anderson. 1-1 the score here in the first period. This is live on Eurosport. The semi-final, the winner goes up against Canada or the Russians. They'll be playing tonight. Dolezal takes it over the blue, can't go any further. Peter Anderson starts it up on the left side. Anderson, still with Anderson, casually throws it in front, and Brzeza sees it coming all the way.
The pace that these two teams skate at, it isn't hard to see why they've got to get the shots away in a hurry. Both teams are so quick, they put a lot of pressure on each other. As soon as the puck is on someone's stick, you can see the legs are just pumping. They know they've got to move. Anybody coasting isn't going to have a prayer for a shot. Face-off in the Czech zone.
That comes all the way back to Blomsten. Blomsten, not a great pass from him. Olund was a couple of strides forward. Kadlec off the boards, couldn't get around big Ardo Blomsten. Dolezal tipped it in. Herbeck is there. That's rattled off the woodwork, and it comes all the way out of the zone. Number 4 is Nilsson for Sweden. Nilsson loses control. Holland gives it to Kadlec. Kadlec through the circle, headmanning the puck, and the Czechs with Holland taking the long shot on Tommi Söderström. No problem for him. 1-1. Both teams getting a goal early in the first period. Nilsson gets away from Hostak. That's shot all the way in. Horova for the Czechs brings it out on the right side. Horova allowed to maneuver down past the red line, still with Horova. Runs into number 14, Stillman. A lot of jeers and whistles in the background. Difficult to hear if there is a whistle out there. Kastak keeps the play moving. A good play through center to Hostak, and he takes the shot. Söderström got it. Russell tried to pick it up, and he did, but had to give it away to avoid being screamed into the boards. Rungqvist with Anderson breaking at center. Rungqvist pass over to Anderson. Anderson, offside whistle on the play. The idea was right, though.
That's probably the best line for the Swedes to have out onto the ice when Russell, Kastak, and Hostak are out there. The line that has Rungqvist as the center. Thomas Rungqvist, the captain of the team, 32-year-old and very experienced player, will always come back deep. He helps out around the net. He's always working in the corners. He's the guy to make sure that the minimum is a 3-on-3 for the Swedes in their own end.
Stillman with a long clearance into Czech territory. Has that bounce all the way back to the far blue line. Brzeza goes down and makes the save. Brzeza has backup in Roman Turek.
Kenholt directing the puck toward Brzeza. He got the stick out. The puck ricocheted off it in a hurry, but he managed to regroup himself and cover it for a face-off.
Berglund gets set for this one for Sweden. Wins the draw, gets it back. Anderson on this side wanted it. The shot at the second attempt goes in there. Popovic got a piece of it. Dahlman was camped out with Serban and Staviana in front of the net, and that was frozen.
Serban and Staviana, two of the most steady defensemen in the games. They don't get a lot of attention. They're two guys that are very underrated. The two of them block a lot of shots.
Both of them playing in Sweden, and so the Swedes know all about their style of game. Back again to the blue line. Popovic lets it ride. Brzeza is there, and that bounces out to the slot area, and back comes Tupal. Tupal on the right side. Tupal trying to throw it through. On the second attempt, puts it in the net. Oh, that looked like a routine shot from Tupal.
Swedes defensively backing in. A bit of a bad break for them, as it looked like they had the Czechs under control. Tupal coming into the zone. His pass ends up going off a stick, coming right back to him. He keeps the puck on the backhand, works it far enough around Peter Anderson to direct it toward the goal, and he pinpoints it just inside the post. Söderström can't get the leg out.
2-1 now the score, with the Czechs taking the lead for the first time in this game. Forsberg lets that one go as it's shot in. The Swedes come out and clear the zone to avoid the offside. Kadlec a little late in passing that. It was broken down. Bergqvist goes into the corner. Kadlec stays on him, and now the Czechs are playing smarter hockey. Janecki, a rink-wide pass, that's too far for anyone. Goes all the way down the ice, and the Swedes must be thinking, what are they going to do if Tommi Söderström gets hurt or he just doesn't have a good game? Forsberg brings it up. The backup, Mikael Sundloff, has not played hockey for a month. He's been involved in practices, but that's been the extent of it. Peter Oslund was sent home a couple of days ago he was found to be drunk and in charge of a wheelchair.
Well, out of control in a wheelchair, actually, showing up in the hotel in the wee hours of the morning, we shall say, in a wheelchair and under the influence of alcohol, not getting a driving while intoxicated charge levied against him, but being sent home.
So all they've got to look to is Sunlove, a good goaltender, but game experience for 30 days, nil. Hostak gets it back. Gudas, the shot is a weak one, but the deflection was there. Just wide of the target. Gudas goes in, keeps it away from Nilsson. A chance for the Czechs now to extend their lead as they apply the pressure here in the first period. That's tipped away and goes all the way down the ice.
Horva couldn't hold it in. The Czechs regrouping.
Back on the right side, Baranek. Baranek doing a great job of forechecking, picks up the puck, throws it in. Kapusta unable to get a clear shot away. Baranek is in there, puts it right out front. The Swedes have gone to sleep in the past couple of minutes in this one. They started like they were on fire, but someone has poured water on their attack.
Baranek and Kapusta play so well together. Baranek's got to be one of the most pesky forwards in the 1993 World Championships. This guy is all over the ice. 15 NHL goals to his credit, currently playing with the Philadelphia Flyers, constantly poke-checking and poke-checking. He's a defenseman's nightmare.
One of the 10 guys who are from the Flyers in the World Championships this year. They didn't make it to the playoffs, but they're surely providing a lot of good firepower and goaltending and defense out there for various World Championship teams.
Offsides on the play. The Swedes stacking up the blue line. The Czechs have really come to life. Söderström feeling the pressure now. It was all Sweden at the drop of the puck, but the Czechs have come roaring back into this game.
Söderström, one of those players who has come from Philadelphia. Face off in neutral ice territory. Tupal will take over in the face-off position. Baranek has been told to leave. A Canadian referee and 2 Russian linesmen. Anderson goes back with Popovich. Rundqvist is on the hash marks. Less than 4 minutes on the first period, 2-1 the score. The Czech Republic are leading this one. Anderson tips it all the way along. Srbin skates quickly down and picks it up before it hits the red line. Srbin peppers that up, gives it away. Anderson got the shot, couldn't hit the net. Popovich on the far side. Popovich goes up against Staviana. Staviana wins it, but the Swedes pick up the puck. A rink-wide pass. Anderson fakes the first shot. A lot of traffic in front. Anderson still with Anderson. He gives it off into the corner. Anderson skates back to his position. He took it right around the net. Anderson on the far side. There's Michael and Peter out there for the Swedes. And that's shot down the ice. It was Peter Anderson, number 55, who took it all the way around and ran out of steam. He's got the puck again. Peter Anderson put to Ulf Dolan. Dolan goes up against Kadlec. Kadlec is spending a lot of time out on the ice. Very, very physical defenseman. Janecki on this side, waits for it. Berglund on the other side, right in front, the backhand. Berglund is there. Briza went down. Nylander, one little move, 2 little moves, and he's brought down along the boards. And it's cleared away. The Swedes do not like that in the crowd. The tip away by Dolezal doesn't work. Berglund taps it right over to the far side. Nylander in the corner. Dolan is there. This line is working well for the Swedes. Dolan along the boards. Dolan, another one of those players who's just come back from the NHL, brings it in front, runs out of places to go. And big Ardo Bloomston got in the way of that. Renberg way back on in front of his own goal, gives it to Nylander. 2 minutes remaining in the period as Nylander tips it up on the backhand side. Horva took a swipe at it. Janecki, oh, big check by Janecki.
The Czech forwards throwing their weight around, helping the defense out.
Horva finding himself forward, tapped it over to the near side. This first period being played at an incredible pace as it winds down. Blomsten throws it up onto the right side. A chance now for Naslund. Naslund on the backhand side has Nilsson going the other way. Nilsson can't get a stick on it. Hostak is there, but Naslund over on the far side. Naslund now. Naslund skated in the picture. Rundqvist is there, can't get the stick on it. Russell tried to move it out. And both teams trying to get fresh legs on there in the final minute of this period. Gudas taken out of the play. Shot on BRŽIZA. Nilsson with Larsson taking the shot. Nilsson on the far side. Larsson goes over after his man, hits him against the boards in front of the Czech bench. And we have another whistle on the play.
Leo Gudas finding out in a hurry that the defensemen aren't going to be able to skate the puck for the Czech Republic like they have been able to up until this game. He was quickly pounced upon by two Swedish forwards, and Larsson got a good shot away at BRŽIZA. Forwards have been doing a good job of coming back. Larsson on the move after Gudas tried to work his way through the Swedish offense.
From the face-off, Serban at the blue. Serban puts it up to Tupal. Tupal can't control that. It's shot back into neutralized territory. Nilsson goes up against Serban. The Czechs win it. Baranek takes the shot, and that whistles by the near post. Bounces all the way out over the red, over the blue, and the Czechs have to get back there with 20 seconds on the period. Short pass out in front, and the Czech Republic will be happy just to keep it out of the zone for the next 10 seconds. The Swedes will not be content until they level the score. Nilsson, not a difficult shot, as that one's passed out in front. There goes the buzzer, and the first period has lived up to our expectations. The Czechs trailing at 1 point, now lead 2-1.
End of the first period. The score is Sweden 1, Czech Republic 2. Attention please, Mr. Roland.
This is exactly what World Championship hockey is all about. The two teams playing it hard right till the buzzer went. 1 second left on the clock. The Swedes still trying to get a shot away.
There is no second chance. This is the semi-final, sudden death. The winner goes on to face the winner of Canada and Russia, which will be played live on Eurosport tonight, 8 o'clock European time. The loser will get a chance to pick up bronze on Saturday. So it's 2-1. The first goal was scored at 1:03. The Swedes got off to a great start with Berglund putting the puck in the net. Dolezal came back on the power play to make it 1-1. And then Tupal picked up a backhand goal that just squeezed in between the skate and the post. We're going to take a break now as the teams take a break. Come back with us in a moment for the second period. To Munich, Paul Ferguson here with Richard Beaupre. The Czechs against the Swedes. The Czechs are leading 2-1 as we get set for the start of the second period.
A very close competition so far. The Swedes out shooting the Czechs 17-12 in the first period. A lot of rebounds, a lot of quick shots from down low. Both goaltenders have come up with great saves.
This guy has been instrumental in putting the Czechs where they are. The Czechs have scored 25 goals and have had only 5 scored against them in 6 games. Not a bad average. At the other end of the rink, the Swedes have had 22 for and 16 against. And that's where they're a bit shaky. Defensively, they're not looking as strong as they have done in the past.
A lot of people look very close at statistics. +6 for the Swedes. People questioning how strong the defense is. You can throw all of the facts right out the door when the game starts. These two teams have been there before, and it's a brand new game when they step on the ice.
The Swedes playing from left to right here in the second period. Coming down on the right side now. Renberg, who's been fairly quiet so far, taken out. Dolezal gets back, a big hit on Anderson. Anderson still fighting for the puck along the boards. Lots of physical stuff out there that, believe me, is very, very painful. These guys can throw their weight around. And you take a look at guys like Lindberg, 6'2", 185 pounds. Tonight you'll get a chance to see the biggest of the big with Lindros, 6'5", 225 pounds. Boy, this guy is a Mack truck out of control. Sweden starting it up, trailing by 1 through the neutral ice territory. Anderson drops it back. Dolezal way back on the hash marks to pick it up. Not a great pass from him. And that's flipped back into the zone by Sweden. Anderson is in there. A big chop as that bobbles away to Rundqvist. Rundqvist circles and goes back in to try to pick it up. Poland spins around. Can't get it out of the zone. Kadlec along the board. Still the Swedes keep it in. Hostak tipped it away, and both teams go for a change. Anderson on the near side, hits the red, flips it through, a chance now. Dahlin takes the shot, and BRZIZA goes down to make the save. Important save for BRZIZA and the Czechs.
You can see how quickly Dahlin, Berglund, and Nylander get themselves into the play. In the first period, these three guys were going crazy. Berglund has the only Swedish goal. He pounced on the puck in front of the net. That's where he does his most work. Dahlin, a goal scorer who's come back to play for Sweden, had an excellent season with Minnesota this year. Probably wishes he could have another crack at that one. He had a lot of time, and he did have room. BRZIZA showing his reflexes and making the save.
Berglund into the face-off circle for Sweden. The Swedes struck in the first minute of the first period, and they're looking to do it again here in the second.
Against the Americans, Nylander was given all kinds of room to run around. The Czechs have kept him pretty close so far in this game. They're going to watch this guy. He's the playmaker on the line.
Popovich took the shot that was handled by BRZIZA on the glove side. Horva took it out. Kostak got hit and couldn't control the puck. Nylander with Popovich back on the blue. Nylander tried to get it over to Berglund. Berglund taken off the puck, and that's cleared out of the zone. The Swedes have to skate over the blue line. Horva back to pick it up. Nylander gets it out front. Dahlin is there, and he just couldn't reach for that puck. Kostak now breaks up on the right side. The Czechs pouring men over the blue line. Kostak looking for Hostak. That didn't work. The yellow shirts buzzing all around. Berglund got it up on the wing. Nylander breaks for the net. Dahlin takes the shot. Berglund is there, and so is BRZIZA.
There are times when you've got a match lines up. The Russell, Kostak, Hostak line probably not the right one to have out when the Swedes have got Berglund, Dahlin, and Nylander on the ice. I'm all excited. This line is so offensive, and the Czech guys out there, Russell and company, they like to stay out. They're not defensive ice hockey players. The Czechs are going to have to do a little bit of homework.
Horva backing right in, eventually slams on the brakes and tries to make a save himself. BRZIZA has to keep the rubber out of the net. From the face-off, Varanek overskated that. Renberg, or Naslund rather, gave it off. Bergqvist couldn't keep it in. Varanek working with Tupal. Tupal taps it nicely to Varanek. Varanek sidesteps one Czech, sidesteps another, looking to get it over to Staviana. Staviana has to go back and throw it on to the D to Serban. 2:35 gone on the second period, and the start of this period has been a good one for the Swedes. Varanek looking for the give and go. Too many yellow shirts in the neutral zone for his liking. Bergqvist flips it into Czech territory. An excellent start for the Swedes here in the second period. Herbeck finds the puck, taps it off the boards. The Swedes coming back in numbers as they hit the red line. Stillman takes the shot. Stillman, the big defenseman, finding himself forward, no one up there to support him, so he went with the shot. BRZIZA had no problem with that at all.
Second period has started out much like the first. The Swedes with the better of the play, taking it right at the Czechs. Kenneth Kenhol just getting to his knees now, was laid right out seconds ago. He isn't going to hurry to get up.
Well, this could be a bitter blow for the Swedes. They know that they are weakest on defense, and if they lose one of their seasoned campaigners, Kenneth Kenholt. He's got the big shot. He's very mobile. This will leave a gaping hole back on the blue line. Baranek has gone into the penalty box.
2 minutes left.
Things getting rough away from the puck. Kenholt in the back of the picture as the Swedes come out. Pulled down by Baranek. Baranek goes to the box for slashing. Certainly looked more like a trip. Kenholt in a great deal of pain. Slowly going off the ice. Baranek leads the Czechs in penalty minutes so far. 10 minutes in penalties by him. None of the Czechs have been overly dirty or finding themselves in penalty trouble. But Baranek is a very aggressive forward and isn't afraid to mix it up.
Power play now for the Swedes here in the second period. They still trail it 2-1, but they've had most of the play since the face-off. Nylander got it back, and Anderson tipped it in. Popovich on this side. Anderson tips it through. Nylander on the hash marks, works away from the board, throws it to the near side, and Popovich back on the blue line. Berglund, perhaps the give and go. Nylander has a lot of time, didn't take the shot. Anderson tees it up, the big shot off the backboards. Comes right onto Nylander's stick, gets it to Popovich. Popovich looking to go back to Anderson, decides to go to Nylander, trying to throw it into Anderson. And that just didn't work. Nylander fell and couldn't stop it from going out over the blue. Popovich now picks it up, gives it to Nylander, a power play situation with Baranek still in the penalty box. Holund takes Nylander out. Nylander hangs onto the stick. Shot coming from Dolan from close in. And the Czechs want to keep the puck moving, shoot it out over the zone.
Swedes moving the puck around nicely, being patient, but not really getting any shots at Brzeza.
Anderson dumps it in. The flip away by Brzeza is not a good one. Dolan right there, he scores. Brzeza was not set. Nylander was behind the net. Power play goal.
One of the few times we've seen Brzeza make a mistake out of his goal, trying to do the defenseman's job for him. Probably should have left things alone. He's scampering to get back into position. He's never going to make it on time. Nylander and Dolan a little bit quicker than the average. And Dolan putting it behind Brzeza. The game is tied again. The penalty makes do for the Swedes as they score a power play goal.
2 apiece now here in the second period. 4:20 gone on the clock. From the face-off, Olund tried to push it through the circle. And that's tapped all the way in. Going back for it is Horva. Kostak is back there. Nilsson pushes along the boards. Gudas is there too. Nilsson taking a few shoves and hits from Horva. Eventually docked a big hit there by Gudas. And the Czechs still unable to control the puck. Kostak kicks it away from Olund. Nilsson is waiting for it to come out. Hostak doesn't want to let it come out. Eventually the whistle blows. Neither team gives an inch along the boards. That's tough work for both teams. A sea of blue and yellow erupts in the background. The Czechs with Ivan Linka looking a little concerned out there because the pressure has been going their way. Kenholt back on the ice, takes his second shot. Brzeza looked around with Anderson draped all over him.
Kenholt couldn't have been hurt that bad. He's certainly getting everything into the slap shots. Renberg laying it back nicely. The big boomer coming from Kenneth Kenholt. Michael Anderson muscling it up in front of the goal, trying to latch onto a rebound. Brzeza not allowing it to happen.
Again, the Swedes win the face-off, and again, it's Kenholt who gets the shot. This time it isn't a good one. Anderson has to come back quickly to break it up. Serban over the red, up to Baranek. Can he glove that down? And look who's all over him. Ken Holt. He's got his number.
Firmly believe that Ken Holt wishes that the play hadn't been stopped so he could have finished that off properly. He does owe Baranek one, but Ken Holt, being the experienced, level-headed player that he is, let it go. Baranek just offside on the play.
Baranek gets set for the face-off just outside the red line, and the Czechs now with Staviana tapping it forward. Baranek couldn't control that. Anderson winds up, big shot, and that's deflected away. The tip there by Bergqvist. Naslund, Anderson, BRŽIZA.
BRŽIZA with his 8th save of the period already. The Czechs haven't had one decent shot yet at Söderström. Over the blue line, Naslund with a lot of time lets it rip. The Czechs are starting to back in defensively.
Forsberg got it back. The shot right in front. Bloomston let it ride.
BRŽIZA once again right on the spot. A lot of traffic in front of him.
Well, I don't know what Coach Kurt Lundmark said between the periods, but it certainly has motivated the Swedes. Another shot comes in. Back on the same point. Dolezal hits it off the boards. There's going to be a penalty. Holland picking himself up in front of the goal. It's going to go against the Swedes as soon as they touch it. There's the whistle, and the Swedes will be a man short. Holland hit heavily in front of the goal. BRŽIZA comes off in favor of an extra attacker and takes the opportunity to give himself a shower.
The Czechs need to pick things up. BRŽIZA will take his time going back out. He very alertly got off the ice right in front of his goal. Holland was sent flying. He's got stick going one way, his helmet going the other way. You can see the Swedish player Naslund choked up on the stick. Holland going down in a heap, losing his wind.
Der Spieler mit der Nummer 19, Markus Näslund, erhält 2 Strafminuten wegen Stockentenstich plus 10 Minuten Disziplinarstrafe.
Captain Rundqvist going over to let Lundmark know what's being called.
This is going to shock the Swedish supporters. Naslund is going to be out for a while.
Player number 9.
Listen to this.
Markus Näslund receives 2 minutes for butt ending plus 10 minutes misconduct.
2 plus 10 for a butt ending. If you don't know what butt ending is, picture yourself standing behind a pool player who's leaning over a table with his cue about to push it forward to hit the cue ball. Instead of pushing it forward, he brings it back into your midriff. That's basically what it's all about. Of course, the Swedes will not be short for the entire 12 minutes, just the 2 minutes, but they'll lose Naslund for 12. They'll have to play shorthanded for 2, but once the 10-minute penalty starts, they can bring on an extra attacker.
I like your description of the butt end. I'd certainly rather get hit by someone backing up with a pool stick.
Dolezal goes off the ice trying to find his nose. This one is becoming very physical indeed. Kostak and Popovic team up in the corner. Popovic just grazing Kostak. 2-2 the score out there, and the Swedes starting to get just as physical as the Czechs.
Kostak going off the ice very slow, 6'5", 225-pound Popovic belting him in the Swedish end of the ice.
Dahlin, great stick handling from him, got it to the far side, and the Czechs unable to get started on this power play. Long pass up the middle. Now the Czechs are turning it on. Kapusta with a head of steam, takes a big chop from Kenneth Kenholt. 46 seconds on the 2-minute penalty. Russell decides to whip it around, back to the point. Holund took the shot. Nilsson gets on it and clears it down the ice.
The last minute of play, 3 Czechs have gone off the ice, hurting. They need a goal. They've got the man advantage.
Horva over to Russell, back to Hostak. Hostak back on the top of the circle to Kapusta. Kapusta slows it down. He's got Russell now on the hash marks. Russell with 18 seconds left on the penalty gives it over to Gudas, who puts it to the far side. Nilsson wants to tip at it. He gets it as far as the blue, and it trickles out over past Horva, and the Swedes play with the puck along the boards. 3 seconds on the 2-minute penalty. Naslund will sit for 10, and the Swedes are back at full strength. Bergqvist comes out of the penalty box. He was sitting out the 2-minute penalty. But as I said, Naslund will sit for 10, but they don't play a man short. What a fiery period. 1 goal in this period. That's from Dahlin to level the score for the Swedes. 8:21 gone as Jiri Dolezal comes back on the ice. Goes back into his own zone. The pass up now to Gudas. Gudas poke checked as he came out. Gudas is not a stick handler, going in on the backhand side. And Breeza went down, the shot comes in. Anderson is right in front. Anderson takes up his position outside. Some good stuff from the Swedes. Rundqvist was all alone in front. Renberg takes the shot. Breeza batted it down off the shoulder. And that's cleared out to Rundqvist. Rundqvist tapped it right in front. And Baranek couldn't get it. Rundqvist is playing for his career out here. And he's doing a great job. A change for the Czechs as the Swedes hit the blue. Anderson backhands it. One hand on the stick. The other Anderson is in there. That comes out. Rundqvist tries to take a poke at that. Popovich couldn't get on it. Baranek lost control of it at the last minute, but took it into the corner and then took a heavy hit. Kostak run off the play by Renberg, and Kadlec has to go deep.
The Czechs not getting anything going. They're in a lot of trouble. This period has been all Sweden.
Herbeck unable to take control on the red line. The Swedes in their own zone will slow it down, complete their line change, and bring it out of the zone if they can. Popovich is calling for it as Forsberg moves up on the right side. Nylander is there, midway point through the second period, 2 goals apiece. This one is wide open. Forsberg, the shot, that took a deflection, went on to the short side. Holund tipped it forward. Herbeck now, the race is on with Popovich. Söderström has to come out. Popovich, not the fastest skater on the Swedish team, unable to get back. Nylander taken off the play by Holund, who quickly gets it up to the blue. The Czechs, Holund, shot, went off a skate, and the Swedes with Nylander up on the right side. He hasn't got support. Nylander with Janecki staying with him. Nylander fell down, and that trickles to the far side. Holund with a change of personnel, gives it to Kadlec with a big shot on Tommy Söderström. Into the corner, back in through the circle. The Swedes happy to get it out. Nylander still out on the ice, up against Horva. Horva puts the stick in. Nylander can't control it. Blomsten picks it up and throws it right back into Czech territory.
Swedes going for a line change. They're still applying most of the pressure on the Czech end of the ice, and they're playing the body all over. The Czechs are really being roughed up in this period.
Dahlin and Berglund kicking it along the boards. Berglund bats it down with the glove hand. Dahlin moves in to help out. Neither team wants to move it. Berglund's still in there. Horva comes up with the loose puck, brings it up on the left-hand side of the goal as he works down the ice. And here comes Peter Russell. Russell, a good little move as he's stripped right at the blue line. Play allowed to continue. The Canadian referee didn't even look at Russell as he looked back. And that bounces off the boards. The Swedes with Dahlin in the far corner. Dahlin is smothered with a 2-on-1 situation. Dolezal tried to tip it free, and Berglund has it now. Berglund with the Czechs throwing their weight around. Whistle on the plate. And again, it's difficult to hear the whistles out there. There are so many whistles and jeers coming from this excellent crowd.
That was not an intelligent penalty taken by Russell, possibly out of frustration as he was pulled down at the other end of the ice and no call was made. Russell counteracts that by receiving a penalty of his own.
Spielmittel Nummer 10, Peter erhält 2 Strafminuten für Beinstellung. Seit 31:9.
Russell tripping up Dahlin.
Penalty, Czech Republic. Player number 10, Peter Hrozol, 2 minutes for tripping. Time.
Power play once again for the Swedes. Dahlin scored on a power play at the start of this period. Can they do it again? Larsson back to Olund. Olund feeds it back to the blue line. Peter Anderson takes the shot, gets it over to the hash marks. Dahlin looking for somewhere to go with it. Anderson couldn't control the pass, and that trickled out over the blue. They'll have to do it again. Up through the middle, some good defensive stuff there by the Czechs, and in particular Janecki doing a good job. Long shot in. Kadlec. Larsson all the way back to Anderson. Again, Anderson fakes the shot and puts it into the left-hand side of the rink. Anderson wants it back at the top of the circle. Anderson tees it up with a big shot. That deflected way up high and is whistled down by Larsson. Or, pardon me, Д.Лорас.
Both the Czechs and the Swedes blocking a lot of shots, getting the sticks out, doing exactly what they've got to do to try and help their goaltender. As long as they're not screening them or deflecting them at the net, the goalies will appreciate all the help they can get. Puck going off a couple of sticks, deflecting up over the plexi, hitting the netting.
A very, very big semi-final here between the Czechs and the Sweden. The winner goes on to take on the winner of Canada-Russia, which will be played on Eurosport this evening. So stay with us. Lots of hockey to come. Nylander taps it back to Stillman, who gets it over to the far side. The shot, Berglund is right in there. Another shot coming in. And Dahlin, who else? Trying to put that beyond the red line. And Breeze's reach.
Dahlin, with a year in Minnesota, has certainly been roughed up in front of the net a few times, standing his ground, hacking and whacking at the rebound. Swedes moving the puck quickly. Nylander throwing it over to Stillman. Stillman looking for Kenholt for that big one-timer. It's off the backboard so quickly, as we've seen happen many times in this tournament. Berglund was waiting for it, but was tied up nicely by the Czech defense.
Stillman back behind his own goal. Nylander breaks on the right as that's peppered up the middle. Dahlin shoots it into the corner. 45 seconds on the power play for the Swedes. They've done everything but put the puck in the net. A long clearance by the Czechs with just 37 seconds on the power play now. Going back forward to Stillman. Stillman quickly gets it up to Nylander. Nylander looking for Berglund, tries to get it back to him, and he does. Berglund along the boards again to Nylander. Nylander being grabbed and hooked, but gets the pass into Dahlin, who gets it all the way back to Stillman, who has it over to Kenholt, who takes the shot. Again, it bounces off the backboards, and Horva gets it away from Dahlin and shoots it down the ice. Some good stuff from the Swedes, but the Czechs continue to take the pressure off and shoot it down the ice.
The Swedes electing to keep the puck out high and go for the big shot from the point.
Russell steps back on the ice. The Czechs back at full strength as Anderson takes it in the corner, feeds it back behind the goal, looking for Renberg. Russell out there in the thick of things, looking for the loose puck. Rundqvist, Renberg, and Anderson. Rundqvist in the corner, one hand on the stick, looking back behind the net for Renberg and Anderson. Renberg is there. Renberg given a hard time by Kapusta. Kapusta digs and shovels his way out. Renberg tries to get it through Horva, and he can't. The loose puck came through Brzeza, but the whistle blew.
Brzeza going down to his knees to get a breather. He certainly has had his share of action in this period. The puck did end up squirting to the front of the goal, but the referee had lost sight of it and had already blown the whistle. Thomas Rundqvist creating a lot of problems behind the goal. Leo Gudaz is one of the bigger defensemen. in the tournament, and you can see that Rundqvist had size on him. Not an easy job for Gudas to try and get Thomas Rundqvist out of the play.
From the face-off, the Czechs with Baranek breaking down the right side. The race is on there with Baranek going up against Åkerström. Åkerström stays with him with the stick, but Baranek hangs on to the puck. Running out of places to go. Olund for Sweden against Staviana. Staviana, puts the stick across, but Olund keeps the legs moving. That's the key there. Keep the legs pumping and you're bound to keep going. That's the theory anyway. A high tip. Olund got a stick on it. The whistle didn't blow because the Czechs came up with the puck. Baranek picked that up nicely. He kept the legs moving. Tupal is right out front. The shot. Söderström finally makes a save from close in. Tupal with about 2 feet away from the net, let that one go. Baranek is buzzing. Tupal is there. A chance now for the Czechs as they motor. Tupal backhands it right in front. Baranek is dumped in front of the net. Söderström came up with a save from close in.
That was a dive and a good one by Baranek in front of the goal. Bergqvist has got a lot of reason not to be happy with the call. The Czechs with a good burst in the Swedish zone, one of very few in this period. Baranek couldn't get the shot away, elected to just leave his feet and go down. You can see that's a dive all the way. Bergqvist given the box. The Swedes will be a man down.
Naslund is still there, sitting out his 10-minute misconduct for butt ending. Holding is the call. Well, Loras was fooled on that one.
If he was really and truly holding him, he would have held him up.
Dolezal from the face-off circle got it over to Kapusta, who got it back to the blue. Herbeck slows it down on the hash marks. The return pass ends up on his stick as he throws it back. A one-timer comes in. Rattled off the blue, and Holland couldn't get a stick to it. Nilsson skates forward. Breeza well and truly out of his net. Not a good clearance by him. And the Czechs look to set up the power play. One man in the box. Naslund is there on the misconduct, so he doesn't count on the ice. Holland flips it to the far side. Nilsson continues to forecheck. Off the boards, the backhander, and again the Czechs will chase.
The Czechs have got to make the passes shorter, stay together going up the ice. The long rink-wide passes aren't going to do anything. The Swedes are quick.
Holland with Janetsky breaking forward. Horan on the ice for the first time. That comes up to the Herbeck. Herbeck can't get a stick on it. Back to the blue line. Some casual play from the Czechs. Gudas can't keep it in. Janetsky goes after his man, but Larsson, a couple of good moves, then he shoots it all the way down into Czech territory. 40 seconds on the power play for the Czechs. Another attempt as the Czechs move up through the zone. Anderson tries to get it off of Russell. He can't move it. Russell with a head of steam. Poke checked out of the play, and the Swedes camping out on the blue.
Right at the blue line, the Swedes doing exactly what they've got to do. The Czechs are walking right into them, not putting anything by them.
Hostak around one man. Again, you see 4 yellow shirts on that blue line, and Rundqvist, the seasoned campaigner, 32 years young, gets it all the way down the ice. Anderson goes after it, and Breeza, who had trouble getting back into his net, shot it out. The Swedes back at full strength. A big hit there on Hostak as the Swedes now continue to move forward. Russell checking, brings his man down. Stillman throws it over with the glove hand to the far side. Anderson picks it up, touches the puck, and we have a whistle on the play.
Stillman losing his stick as he came over the blue line, just gloved the puck toward the boards to keep it moving. Anderson, the next guy to touch the puck, creating the whistle. The face-off will be outside of the Czech zone. Nice little chop from Russell. Russell gives him a couple more. See just how tough the action is, how close each team is playing each other.
3 big chops there from Russell. I know 1 or 2 places where that would have been 3 big penalties for slashing. They're letting a lot of things ride here, whether you agree with that or not. It's happening. In the NHL, that certainly wouldn't have been called. 1 or 2 years ago, I think it would have been called in World Championship play. A Canadian referee out there wants the game to progress. Nylander with Kapusta in the corner. Kapusta trying to get a stick on it. Nylander waiting for it to come his way. And Kapusta feeds it to the far side. Baranek, who's been a thorn in the side of the Swedish defense, trying to split the defense. Anderson put a chop on him, and that comes out over the blue line. The Czechs with Kadlec. Kadlec getting away from Bergqvist. Shot right in, but brought right out again by the Swedes. 1 minute remaining on the period. Nylander at the side of the goal. Dolezal is there. Bergqvist couldn't keep it in, and that rattles over the plexi, and we'll have another face-off with less than a minute remaining on the period. Only 1 goal scored in the period. Dolan picking up the lone encounter on a power play for Sweden. 2-2 is the score, and this one is going to go right down to the wire.
Less than a minute in the second period. The Czechs have been outshot, outscored, and outskated throughout this second 20 minutes of play.
Naslund back on the ice after his 10-minute misconduct and his 2-minute penalty for butt ending. I don't think he'll do that again in a hurry. Thrown away by number 21, Horak. Horak taking off the puck in the neutral zone, and the Swedes, with less than a minute, try to get it through with Naslund. Going forward is Forsberg. Horan goes after him, and Naslund is not happy. With Gudas.
Semi-final game, Gudas is going to have to keep his head. He did a good job of setting a pickup. You can see Gudas setting the pickup on the play. The Czechs look like they're going to walk right out of the zone. Forsberg has stepped up to help. But as Naslund moved off Gudas, Gudas swung around with a stick and tried to murder Naslund.
Both guys are going to get it.
Both guys are going to go is the word from the Canadian referee.
Roughing, okay?
Both men for roughing. I don't think the referee saw that because he has consulted with his Russian linesman. A big chop there by Gudas. That could have been serious back in the days when you didn't wear a helmet. You'd be on your way to the hospital right now, that's for sure.
It shows you how things do not go unforgotten in a game. Naslund with a butt end on a Czech defenseman earlier in the period. Gudas getting his own back, chopping Naslund right around the back of the head. Gudas lucky not to take a major penalty or an intent to injure infraction on that. The teams will both send a man to the box. Loras wants to keep it even and make sure he has full control of the game.
Naslund is in there now for his 14th minutes of the game. 2 + 2 + 10.
I can guarantee you one thing, Naslund will be well rested for the third period. He should be flying.
He won't need a shower after this game if he continues at this rate. Coincidental roughing penalties out there for Naslund and Gudas. And this is everything we anticipated it would be. I really don't know why they were thrown out of the circle.
Neutralize face-off, drop the puck, get the game going.
Let's have a go at the officials. Kadlec to Horvat. Back to Horvat. Now 15 seconds, less than 15 seconds on the period. Russell with a chance to shoot. Russell takes his time, throws it over. Kadlec lets the shot go, and that takes a deflection high. That'll be a souvenir for someone here in the Olympic Hall in Munich. 4 seconds on the clock. Söderström really hasn't been tested that frequently in this period. One from close in from Tupal, and that's been the story.
Good defensive play by the Swedes. Russell coming into the zone and then stopping. A lot of players would continue on and go back, not marking anybody. The two Swedish forwards stopping right at the blue line. The pass went to Kadlec. He had a Swede right in his face who got a tip on the puck.
Face-off inside the blue line. Everyone was lined up outside the blue line. They want to take it from where the shot was taken and where it was deflected. Hostak against Rundqvist. They're going to try that one again. Rundqvist so quick to get him back, gets it back to Kenholt. He hangs onto it, and there goes the buzzer. A very, very physical period with only Sweden getting a goal. Dolan on the power play makes it 2-2, and that's the way it stands after 40 minutes of play.
End of the second period. The score is
Swedes with the better of the play throughout the period, capitalized with the man advantage. They outshot the Czechs 14-6 in the second period.
Well, the Swedes certainly have had the majority of play during the two periods, but the score does not indicate that, does it?
It's all even with 20 minutes to go. The next goal is going to be a big one.
The winner, we know, will take on the winner of Canada, Russia. That game will be on Eurosport tonight, live, 8 o'clock European time. That's the second semi-final, and the final will be played on Eurosport live on Sunday, May the 2nd. The battle for relegation will be on Saturday, and the bronze will be on Saturday, so still lots of ice hockey to come on this channel, so stay with us. The teams are going to take a well-deserved break. And as I said, anything can happen in this one. It's level at 2 apiece. Berglund and Dolan for Sweden, Dolezal and Tupal for the Czech Republic.
Each side has capitalized with the man advantage. It has started to get a little bit sticky. Both teams having good hacks and whacks at each other. The coaches are going to calm the boys down, get them under control, and make sure there's no penalties, or silly ones anyways, in the third period.
You're watching World Championship Ice Hockey on Eurosport. Welcome back to the Olympic Hall in Munich. The Czechs against the Swedes. It's all tied up, and we have 20 minutes of ice hockey to go. The Swedes have been outplaying the Czechs for most of the game, but they've been unable to get the puck past Brzeza. Coming out onto the ice now, both teams will be set for this one. They know that there's no tomorrow as far as gold and silver are concerned. The winner will go on to take on the Canadians and the Russians who play tonight. The winner of that can be seen 8 o'clock European time on Eurosport, live of course. And the loser of the game will play off for the bronze medal on Saturday, again on Eurosport. Brzeza has been outstanding, as we expected. At the other end of the rink, Söderström hasn't had that much action, but he too has been very sharp.
Söderström has made big saves when he's had to. The Czechs have had little spurts where they apply quick pressure, get a couple of great opportunities, and then seem to lay back again. And most of the shots have been going at Petr Brzeza, 31-18. The advantage going to the Swedes for shots on goal. But at the end of the day, it's the scoreline that counts, and it's 2-2 with 20 minutes of hockey to play. We're down to the big boys, and this is where it all counts.
Both teams have a man in the penalty box out there for rough stuff just inside the Czech zone. Naslin and Gudas were caught by the Canadian referee. The Swedes playing from right to left with Rundqvist tipping that through to Holland. Kadlec being shadowed by Anderson, gets it over to Holland. Now Holland starts it up. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of shooting in this period. Big shot there from Holland, misses the near side of the net. Anderson way back for Sweden. Anderson brings it up, picks up a head of steam, gets by one man, takes his shot. Brzeza traps that between the pads. And just as I say, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of shooting. There is a lot of shooting.
Both teams letting the long shot go for their first shots of the period. Holland's going wide. blast by Anderson. That's not going wide. Briza with a little bit of trouble. It's a difficult one for a goalie as he's getting himself set. Not one you let that slip through his pads.
One of the problems with a goaltender who goes down into the butterfly or the flopper is that they do concede goals through the 5-hole between the pads. They have a tendency to be faster at getting the shots down low, but they do let those goals go in through the pads. The Czechs now bringing it up with 56 seconds on the coincidental penalty. Hostak trying to get that through to Russell. Russell bumps his man. The Swedes flip that high along the boards. Anderson gives it a shove, gets it up to Nylander. Anderson breaks to the far side. Nylander falls in the corner. That's the second time we've seen him do that. Perhaps losing an edge. Russell looking for Hostak. That didn't happen. Serback collects the pass, dumps it all the way back. 30 seconds now as Staviana hits the red line. Staviana, long shot on Söderström. Popovic back on the D. Staviana stays on him for just a couple of seconds. And the Swedes bring it out. 16 seconds on the penalties. Nylander circles back with 7 seconds on the penalty. Nylander still going forward, looks for someone to pass to, has nowhere to go. Right on the blue line, looked to me like he took it over the blue line. Both teams back at full strength now as the Czechs move it out. It was a delayed offside on the play. Horava passes that through the defense, and the Swedes get it all the way out up to Forsberg. Forsberg is hit and drops it back. A chance for Tupal. Tupal, the shot right on Söderström. Picked up the rebound right out front. The Czechs still have possession at the top of the circle. Gudas is back on the ice, but there's going to be another penalty.
Loras flopping his arms back and forth, letting both teams know that each side is going to send a guy to the sin bin. You got a holding call coming up. The Swedes grabbing and clutching around the front of the net. Tupal trying to fight for position. Loras sending him to the box as well. Coach Alinka has obviously told the Czechs to come out shooting in this period. They have been badly outshot, but have quickly been getting the shots away at Söderström.
Before every face-off, Tommy Söderström drops back into the net. A little superstitious move. Ackerström is in the box too, along with Tupal. Nilsson behind his own cage. Nilsson drops it off and brings it forward. Stillman taken off the puck by Janecki. Kadlec breaks through over the blue. Kadlec, another whistle on the play.
Referee Loras, realizing he's in a tight game, certainly doesn't want to be the one to decide it. It should be played between the two teams. One of them should have the final say, issuing penalties to both sides. Tupal roughing, Ackerström holding. A good call by him. A lot of referees might have just gone one way or the other. They were both having a good go at each other, so he's evening things up.
Bloomston is showing that he can be a handyman as well as a defenseman. The rubber coating has come off the edge of that plexi.
He's also a defenseman that's going back for the puck quite a bit and doesn't want to end up being pasted against that without that padding taped on there.
(2-2) the score. Sweden against the Czech Republic as we have a timeout for repairs to the plexiglass around this Olympic Hall. An excellent crowd here to see this semi-final game. They'll have even more people tonight when Russia take on Canada. Just a little under 11,000 here in the Olympic Hall, and the crowds have been good. It's difficult to get people out during the daytime when everyone has to go to work. The weekends and the evening games are better attended, unless, of course, the Germans were playing. They sold 100,000 tickets in advance. There are a total of 380,000 tickets to sell. So that's not bad. 2:30 gone on the third period. And it's 2-2. We're back to the action. They've fixed the plexi. Score! Renberg came moving down on the wing and let the wrist shot go. Boy, did that one whistle.
Doing just what the coaches try to teach you to do, shooting on the fly, something the Swedes are the best at. On the move on his off wing. Does he ever get some weight behind this one? That is a shot that you normally don't have the greatest of strength on. Pushing the puck to the outside. Renberg, the 20-year-old kid who's over 6 feet 2 inches tall, snaps it quickly. Briza handcuffed. Goal number 3 and the go-ahead goal for Sweden.
Big goal for Renberg here in the third period. From the face-off, the Swedes gather it again and start forward. 2:45 gone on the period. Staviana out through the circle. Dolan stays on him. Staviana taken out of the play. Söderström makes the save. Anderson is there, and he starts it up on the left side of Söderström as he looks down the ice. Berglund to the far side, a 2-on-1 situation, and the Swedes couldn't put it together. The Czechs now with 3 men at center ice. Coming back on the attack. Big shot there. Kadlec getting a piece of it. Anderson gently taps it around to the far side of the net, and the Swedes again started up with Berglund breaking on the blue line. Berglund waits for the complete change. Goes way back deep into his own zone. And now they've completed their change. They'll start it up again. Bergqvist taken out by Holland. Janecki back behind his own goal. Janecki heads up hockey. Janecki looking for somewhere to go. Gets around the first man, or does he? Good check there by Bergqvist, who got the stick in at the last moment. And you can see once again the Swedes playing right along that blue line. Janecki, the backhander through to Herbeck. Herbeck can't get there. That's thrown away by Stillman. Kadlec to the side of the net. Herbeck is there. Dolezal takes a hit in front. Kenholt is all over him. Stillman stays on his man. Into the corner. Stillman stays with him. A loose puck is picked up by the Swedes. Back on the attack on the left side. Janecki gets back in a hurry to run a little interference. And Kadlec behind his own zone picks up the loose puck.
Close checking by both teams, especially in the neutral zone. Neither team being allowed to get ahead of steam up.
Ulund goes after his man and puts the stick in the way of the puck. Popovich against Kastak. Popovich again against Hastak now. Hastak gets in there. Larsson comes in to help out. Number 22, number 12 for the Czechs, as you would expect. Muscling in the corner. Rossel is waiting for the pass out front. Now Rossel moves to this side and gets the pass in the neutral zone. A long pass through is deflected away. Nilsson goes after it. This guy is a good forechecker. That's why he's on the ice. Kastak gets away from his man, is brought down by Nilsson. Play continues with Rossel. Rossel took a big hit just inside the blue line, and the Swedish fans love that. Larsson really laid into him. Both teams again changing personnel, and Kapusta couldn't get that one. The door wide open on the far side. Tupal tried to get it. Anderson calls for it, and the pass ends up on his stick. Anderson lazily shoots it out, and the other Anderson gets it up on the boards. Serban stays with him, but the Swedes pick up the puck and set it up in the zone. Rundqvist. Kapusta. Tupal breaks, but the pass doesn't come his way, and the Czechs now having problems getting out of their own zone. 1, 2, 3, 4 Swedes run into Baranek. Ackerström, the big defenseman, gets way back. Rundqvist, an even bigger forward, is in there to help out too. Tupal couldn't get a stick on it. The other Anderson back up along the boards, shoots it away from Serban.
The Swedes have taken the 1-goal lead and are really starting to blanket the Czech forwards. and not giving them any room to move or skate around with the puck. The Czechs finding it rough to get a shot away. Thomas Rundqvist, as I said before, one of the best defensive centers in the world, coming back to help out in the corners. He's doing a good job of making it easy for his defensemen.
Lots of encouragement from Ivan Lincoln behind the Czech bench as they get set for this face-off with Janečky getting in the circle for the Czechs. Janečky wants to move along to the hash marks on the boards. He can't get there. Dolezal comes in to help out. Stillman has something to say about it, and Dahlman comes up with the puck. Dahlman gets away from Herbeck. Still it's with Dahlman as he moves down on Holland. Dolan gets it out front. Berglund is there in the circle. Berglund backhands it behind the goal to Nylander. Nylander got it out front. The shot is there. Dolan is right in the crease, and Brzeza makes the save.
Berglund, Dolan, and Nylander still creating problems for the Czechs. Berglund is so clever in front of the net. Always getting on top of the Czech defenseman and very quick to take shots on rebounds. Nylander, the playmaker, once again. Berglund cruising into the slot. The Czechs with a close call. They are nearly down by 2 on that play.
Three to 2 the score. The Swedes still leading the Czechs here in the third period. This one is live from the Olympic Hall in Munich. Full house here as Kostak tries to go for the far side, just missed the post. Horva couldn't keep it in. Bergqvist picks it up in neutralized territory, feeds it over to the far side. Brzeza looking for that one, and eventually pulled it out of his paraphernalia, wherever that may be.
Shot coming high. The Swedes once again on the counterattack, very quick to break down. The Czechs desperate to get back into the play. Berglund letting it rip. Brzeza, a tough save for him as it was up high and under the arm, held on.
Larson from face-off couldn't kick it back, and Staviana gives it to Serban. Serban, a rink-wide pass, and the Czechs now hit the blue up to the red. Coming up on the attack, Herbeck with Tupal out front. The shot coming in from Baranek. Tupal circles, tries to get it back out front. Baranek is shadowed in front. Larson goes after Tupal. The loose puck is still held on to for the moment anyway by Staviana, and the Swedes with Blomsten coming up. Blomsten hits the red and throws it in behind the goal. The Swedes now working out front. Brzeza made the save on Larson. Nilsson was waiting at the far post. Renberg keeps it in. Larson taps it into the corner. And Kapusta will motor along the side, but he can't get a stick on it. Staviana now has the puck. Staviana from the far corner trickles it over to Serban. Serban looking for places to go, runs into Nilsson and just releases the puck.
Serban and Staviana going off the ice together to get it changed. The Czech defense are under a lot of pressure. The Swedes look hungrier. Patrick Uhlin, number 5, with an excellent job of forechecking on his shift.
Rundqvist fed that one over to Renberg. That took a weird bounce. Renberg goes after it. The Czechs still unable to get it out of the zone. Now they do. The break is on. A chance coming up for Janečky. Janečky is hooked off the play by Stillman at the last minute. Janečky was hit hard from behind, and now it goes the other way with Holland getting back. Holland and Kadlec getting back on the double. Fed through neutralized territory, but Stillman is Johnny on the spot to pick it up and dump it in. Kadlec, a good little spin from him to get himself free. Kadlec hanging on that puck perhaps a little too long. Another pass through, looking for the Czech forward, Hostak. Kostak and Hostak, big shot coming in, and Söderström got the blocker to it. Nylander, not a great backhand pass from him, is picked off by Hostak. Hostak on his own, one hand on the stick, but one too many yellow shirts there. Kenholt muscles him. Icing is the call, and we have action at both ends of the rink here in the third period.
Nylander showing how quick he is. Kenholt drilled the puck off the boards, and it was on its way for an icing call. Nylander on the move. trying desperately to get to it before it crossed the red line. Shot earlier, deflector saved by Söderström. The Czechs need to get more shots on the net.
Face-off deep in Swedish territory. And the Russian officials taking a long time to get this one away. That moved over closely to Dahlin, and he just flipped it down the ice. Horova for the Czech Republic picks it up and moves it out on the left side of the cage. Horova taps it forward, and the Czechs now motor down with Kostak. Kostak going up against Anderson. That's left for Hostak. Hostak is followed by Popovic. Popovic dumps him down. Rossel goes in, doesn't get a stick to it, but Gudas is able to clear it back into the zone. Big Peter Anderson is there. He moves along the boards. Kostak is there too. That comes out nicely, and the Swedes breaking with two players. Berglund. Berglund has Dahlin. Dahlin goes in, runs out of places to go as Brzeza came out of the net. A back pass by Rossel. The return pass didn't make it all the way back to Rossel's stick.
The Swedes are still working harder than the Czechs. The Swedes are back-checking harder, and they're breaking out quicker. 2-on-1 opportunity again for the Swedes as they're on the fly.
Baranek, he lets the shot go. The rebound, and he's smothered out of the play as Söderström made the save. Still not out of the zone, but now it is. And Rossel brings his man down. Forsberg falls. Horova takes him out in the corner. Rossel picks up the puck on the near side, and here comes Rossel. His back pass is deflected away, and the return pass ends up in Baranek's stick. Forsberg and Naslund are back deep for the Swedes. And the Swedes casually bring it out of their own zone. Naslund breaks to the far side. Forsberg shoots it in. That bounces out in front, with Naslund skating quickly after it. Tupal takes a hit on the board. Staviana. Some interference there on Naslund from Kapusta. A pair of 19s square off. And Naslund goes after his man on the far side and misses the check. Everyone following through on the big checks out there. Blomsten drops it off, and the Swedes and the Czechs trying to get fresh legs out on the ice here in the third period. Renberg's goal is looking mighty big for the Swedes as they lead this one 3-2. A chance right in front for Dolezal. Dolezal still with the puck. Dolezal stick handling nicely, chopped away off the puck, and here comes a break. A break for Ulund. Ulund going in on goal. Brzeza right there. Stillman tried to bring it up. He took a lot of time on it, and here comes number 18, Herbeck. 3 checks hitting the blue line. Dolezal coming right in, right out front. The shot trickles away off a defenseman, and that shot down the ice. Ulund with a golden opportunity at one end, and then the quick counter by the Czechs at the other.
Two of the best teams in the world showing their stuff. Great end-to-end action. The pace is incredible right now. Ulund, after number 26, Dolezal held the puck too long. Ulund on the break quickly. Brzeza holds his ground and makes the save. The Czechs responded by applying pressure of their own. This is really going at a torrid pace right now.
Face-off in Swedish territory. Rundqvist goes up against 22 Hostak. Hostak wins it. Gudas has a chance to shoot, and he does. Söderström, lovely save on the big boomer from Gudas. Rossel with Hostak and Kostak. Rossel with a lot of time takes the shot, and again right on the money. Söderström comes up with it, and they gave Rossel a lot of space out there. Maybe they've seen him missing goals on breakaways before, but they certainly let him have room to move on this occasion.
You don't want to give Rossel or anybody the time to shoot like this. It's not the greatest of angles, but the Swedes have been playing good man-to-man coverage in their own end. Backed right off Rossel on the play and allowed him to come right toward the goal. Söderström did well to keep the puck out.
From the face-off, this time the Swedes, Rundqvist wins it. Hostak has been getting them back on numerous occasions. Rundqvist drops it back as we approach the 13-minute mark. 7 minutes now remaining on the game. 3-2, the Swedes are beating the Czechs. Still anyone's contest out there. It really has been great end-to-end ice hockey in this third period. For that matter, for the full 3 periods. That's frozen against the boards with big Renberg coming in to provide a little help as Anderson picks himself up.
Gudas taking Anderson out of the play. 2 Czechs and 2 Swedes in the corner. Both teams not wanting, either team that is, not wanting to give up an inch.
Berglund tries to get it back. Dolan picks it up. Dolan in there. Backhander goes over top of the cage. Oh, so close for big Ulf Dolan. The Swedes pick up the puck at their own blue line, bring it right back in. Åkerström getting hit right on the blue. Nylander goes after Serban. Serban delivers that up through the circle, and the Czechs now take it through neutral ice territory, and that took a deflection all the way down the ice. Tupau goes after his man, but the Swedes get it out of the zone. Serban over to Staviana, back to Baranek. Baranek going in from a sharp angle. Söderström stopped that. Tupau gets a stick in there, but can't contain it. A high tip, and the Swedes seem to be just content for the moment anyway to get it out of harm's way. Tupau with 1, 2, 3, 4 Swedes moving along the blue line. The Czechs there with a good opportunity, but Blomsten breaks it up. Blomsten, an awkward customer, all arms and legs, shoots it down the ice.
Tupau and Baranek applying the pressure for the Czechs. Did a great job of forechecking. Tupau trying to lean on Blomsten. Blomsten showing his strength as he came around the net. Ice the puck. The faceoff will come back down near Tommy Söderström.
One or two nervous twitches from Ivan Hlinka, but you would expect that in a game like this. I'm sure that Kurt Lundmark behind the Swedish bench is not smiling. Janecki tries to get it through. That doesn't happen, but Herbeck somehow picked it up in the corner. Janecki is dumped. Herbeck moves in to try to get the puck. Dolezal back into the corner, and that bounces over the plexi with Herbeck, Dolezal, and Janecki providing a little pressure on the Swedish goal.
Face-off so important, especially at this stage of the game. Thomas Rundqvist coming onto the ice to take most of the face-offs in the defensive zone. He's big, he's strong, he's quick on the puck, and he really fights and wins most of his draws.
Forsberg against Herbeck on that occasion from the red line. Stillman flips it high off the boards. The Czechs circling back, coming out of their own zone. Holland with a long shot on the goaltender. Forsberg backhands it but can't get it out at the second attempt. He picks it up and feeds it up to Bergqvist. Bergqvist looking for the pass onto the right wing. That didn't work. Herbeck tries to break through with Dolezal now going back on the attack. Naslund takes a wrist shot. Bržiža went down. That ended up on this side. Kadlec threw it to the other side. Less than 5 minutes on the period, less than 5 minutes on the game. Naslund is out front, and the pass just didn't come his way. Back on the attack is Herbeck. He has Janecki. Can't split the defense. The puck ends up on Anderson's stick, and then Herbeck is there with Janecki. But somehow that trickles kindly for the Swedes.
The Czechs with a quick breakout. The Swedes getting back, though, as the pass came into the slot to clear the zone very quickly.
It's warm, and the ice is choppy.
The puck is really starting to bounce.
Another change of players for both teams as Russell steps back on the ice with Hostak and Kastak. Kastak trying to feed it through to Hostak, and that goes back for Popovich. All 6'5" of them moves along the boards, gets it up to Ullin. Ullin, who missed a breakaway last time, takes the shot. Brzeza way out of his net to make the save. No trouble on this occasion. Russell now. Good pass up on the right side. Hostak just can't get to it. A loose puck there. Blomsten falling all over the ice. Nilsson got back to help him, and Stabiana pumped the pass through. And Kostak just couldn't make anything of it, so Stabiana will try again. The clock ticking down. The Czechs are trailing the Swedes 3-2.
2 early penalties called in the period, 1 to each side. Since then, Loras has had the best seat in the stadium. He's watching a heck of a game.
Soderstrom made the save, deflected it up to the near side, and here come the Swedes. Back on the attack is Nilsson. Nilsson with Renberg picking up a head of steam. Renberg certainly is a mountain of a man out there. Once he gets those wheels turning, it's difficult to slow him down. Renberg goes after his man, and again, the Swedes pump it in, come out to clear the zone. Some good forechecking there by Rundqvist, and now Anderson takes over to do the forechecking duties. Tupal with less than 3 minutes on the clock looks to get it up. That's not a great pass, and the Swedes say, hey, let's put it right back into Czech territory and kill it off again. Ken Holt with the good idea, coming up with a clearance. Serban, a change for the Czechs. Herbeck couldn't contain that. Peter Anderson again shoots it out once he steps across the red line.
When the Czechs got to their own blue line, there were already 3 Swedes back on their blue line waiting, not taking any chances, keeping one man back all the time.
Dolan again dumps it in. Keep your eye on BRŽIZA. I'm sure they're going to pull him if the score remains the same with just a few seconds or so remaining on the clock. Janecki couldn't hang on to that bouncing puck, and Anderson put it into Nylander, who gets it to the far side. Yuri Dolezal gets it away from Nylander, but can't get it out of the zone. Kadlec on the near side starts it up. 2 minutes, Janecki feeds it through to Dolezal, and Soderstrom taps it up into the circle.
Dolezal trying to make something happen from nothing.
Long clearance in with less than 2 minutes on the game. The Czechs are going to have to apply some pressure. Popovich, a good clearance from him. Dolan couldn't control it. And Janecki shoots it right back in. Kostak will race for this. Berglund gets there first, and the Swedes having an easy time of getting it out of the zone. Bergqvist shot high on BRŽIZA. That went upstairs. And a chance now for the Czechs as they come down on the left side of the rink. Nylander got back quickly. Nylander stick handling nicely, goes for a long skate. I'm sure that Soderstrom would not appreciate him coming back into his own zone, and he's not going to appreciate the fact that he iced the puck.
Nylander thought he was being cheeky, elected to go for a skate with the puck. Spun one way, went out on the other side of the center red line, and then fired it back into the Czech zone. A mistake from him. The Czechs have what they want, the face-off deep in Swedish territory.
A timeout has been called by the Czech Republic. 1 or 2 words from backup goaltender Roman Turek, but the goaltender BRŽIZA will be watching coach Ivan Hlinka.
Hlinka having a word with his players. Russell, Hostak are going to stay out on the ice.
The 30-second timeout has expired. BRŽIZA comes over to Hlinka. Keep your eye on me, says Hlinka. I'll give you instructions. Big, all-important face-off now in Swedish territory after that icing by Nylander. 1 minute on the game, 3-2, the Swedes leading the Czechs. Anxious moments for Soderstrom. Everyone coming forward for the Czechs. Big face-off here. Hostak will do the honors for the Czechs. Rundqvist, as you would expect, the season campaigner, 32 years old, goes for it for the Swedes. The Swedes know that the Czech goaltender is off the ice. They've got 6 attackers out there. Soderstrom decides to glove that down and force yet another face-off.
BRŽIZA on the bench for the Czech Republic. 6 attackers. They need a goal. They've got less than a minute to get one. The The Swedes know they've got to get that puck to the center red line, though, not take any chances. They'll do whatever they got to do and whack it out of the zone. But if they're going to make an attempt to go for the goal, or at least to get it deep into the Czech zone, they're going to get over the center red line first.
Ivan Linka hesitated at the end of that 30-second timeout and then made the decision to go for pulling out the goalie. Baranek trying to poke that through. A chance. The Sutter scores! Oh, it worked for the Czechs. Way back at the blue line. A long shot. And it's a goal for the Czechs. 3-3 is the score. Watch this. Kadlec moves in.
A big pile of players in the face-off circle. Ken Holt right in front of Söderström, possibly screening him. Kadlec doesn't care. He lets it rip. Söderström is beaten on the glove side. We've got a tie game.
The most important goal of his career.
Kadlec, certainly a happy man. Söderström, not so happy.
1912, the time of the goal. 3-3 the score, and what a semi-final game this is. Just when everyone in the stand supporting the Swedes was celebrating, the Czechs come up with a fantastic goal with the goaltender out. Time ticking down, and here come the Czechs again, hitting the blue line. Russell on this side, Kapusta streaking over the blue line, and the whistle blows. 28 seconds left on the ticker, and still time for a team to score a goal.
It certainly is. It only takes one shot. The Czechs doing an excellent job of tying players up on the face-off. Going back to that goal real quickly, they got what they wanted out of it. It appeared that Dolan had moved before the puck was dropped. I was just about to say that when the puck went back to Kadlec, and they ended up getting the result they wanted anyways.
This will not end in a draw. Someone has to win it, so stay with us. 20 seconds on the clock. Anderson tips it forward and down into Czech territory. Serban to Staviana on the far side. 10 seconds now on the clock. No one is going to take a chance out there. A long pass. That could be costly. Just when I said no one is going to take a chance, the Czechs go for the long pass. It doesn't work. The icing whistle blows, and the face-off goes back into Czech territory. I think it's fair to say that it cost the Swedes a goal a moment ago. Nylander iced the puck unintentionally. The face-off in their territory. The Swedes took off the goalie, or the Czechs took off their goalie, and the Czechs come up with a goal.
It's the little things that count in ice hockey. The icing call certainly hurting the Swedes, but you've got 4 seconds left on the clock. All of these guys on the ice have got to be tuned into that. You can't try that long pass. The player certainly wasn't going to get a breakaway out of it. There were 3 Swedes back. Now the face-off comes into the Czech zone.
3 seconds now. Horova taps it off the boards. There goes the buzzer as Dolan touches the puck. And a lot of the spectators here on their feet saluting both the teams. At the end of 60 minutes of play, this one ends a 3-3 draw. The teams are leaving the ice now, and we'll come back for more action in a moment. This one is far from over, so stay with us. We've got some overtime and perhaps penalty shootouts to go. Here comes the announcement. Well, if it doesn't work in overtime, it'll go into shootouts. I don't particularly enjoy that. I don't think it's a fair way of ending the game. But at some time in their lives, these guys will have to go home.
Both teams are experienced. They certainly have been there before, but it's a game of momentum, and the Czechs have it going their way right now with the late goal. 9 shots on the net for Sweden in the third period. The Czechs with 15.
better period there for the Czechs.
They came back strong and applied more pressure on Söderström in the late going. They got the equalizing goal. It's anybody's now, but the Czechs have certainly got to have the adrenaline pumped up.
Berglund started things off for Sweden, and Dolezal and Tupal scored for the Czechs. Dahlin, Renberg, and Kadlec getting the goal, and that's the way it stands now. 3-3 after full time, and we've got overtime coming up. That for a few years.
Little things like that can turn it around in a hockey game.
Stillman picks himself up. Kenhold comes to this side. Rundqvist looking for the give and go. That goes off the boards. Holland shoots it away. And this one comes down to overtime in the World Championships. If they don't score in 10 minutes, it's a shootout. Back to the blue. That's tipped in, and the Swedes move in quickly. Rundqvist had that deflected, and it went over the board, so we'll have a face-off. Berglund, Dahlin, and Renberg for Sweden. Dolezal, Tupal, and Kadlec for the Czech Republic.
There is a tomorrow for the loser of this game. There is a fight for the bronze medal to take place, but nobody wants to lose. The Czechs have the bronze medal from the 92 games. They would like gold or silver. The Swedes are trying to defend the gold medal that they won last year, and it's all down to the next goal.
In a couple of hours' time, the Canadians go up against the Russians live on Eurosport, so stick around. Let's hope this one ends before that one begins. It could get messy out there. Nylander taken out of the play, and a lot of holding. You're not going to see either team giving anything away in the corners. Nylander is roughed up for a second, got the puck. Nylander moves outside. Horva and Kastak stay with him. You can see the Czechs getting back and protecting the front of the net. Dahlin falls, got it out to Nylander. Nylander would love to make amends for that icing call. Nylander got it out front. The deflection ends up in the near side of the rink. Hostak started to move away. Gudas pins it against the boards. The officials want to let it go. It's kicked along the boards. Hostak, Kostak, they're all in there, freezing that against the boards, and eventually the whistle blows and we'll have another face-off.
The Czechs doing a pretty good job, but not completely right. Horva backed off Nylander in the other corner. You just can't do that. Whether it's sudden death overtime, whether it's regular play or what, you can't give that guy a couple of strides. He got a shot away. It ended up not being a real threat, but the man-to-man coverage is critical.
Change of personnel out there for both teams. That's still in the corner. Forsberg forechecking, back on the blue. Shot in, going after is Bergqvist. Horva, or Serban rather. Serban with Kapusta. Kapusta picks it up, and the Czechs now have it for the first time in this period. Naslund goes after his man. Varanek put his skate out. That deflected back along the boards, and a big hit right on the red line by Forsberg. Naslund, who spent 14 minutes in the penalty box, should be the guy out there who can explode. He certainly had a long enough rest. Bergqvist chases his man as that comes deep into Czech territory. The Czechs started out slowly. No one wants to give it away. Stepjana gave it away. Forsberg on the backhand, trying to sort it out with Naslund cruising to the far side. And some sloppy play by the Czechs in their own zone. A delayed offside on the play, and that was so uncharacteristic. Maybe these guys are tired.
Stepjana and Serban being a little bit too conservative. They can't hold back. They've got to get the puck out.
The Swedes certainly have the momentum. Rundqvist feeds it through. Renberg goes in, takes the shot. The second shot doesn't get off the ground. Briza slid across the crease, stacked the pads, and Renberg just couldn't get it away. Anderson circles, a big hit in on him by Stepjana. Janecki tries to get it back behind the net. He does. The puck is moved around, but the Swedes certainly have the momentum going their way. Renberg really did have a golden opportunity. Briza well out of his net. Herbeck takes a hit, and look at the yellow shirts getting back in a hurry.
Unbelievable display of goaltending by Briza. Renberg out of nowhere with a great move, and then a long shot. Briza coming way out of his goal, showing his experience.
Janecki got it forward, and the Czechs now at the red line, unable to get it beyond the blue line. Nylander Squeezed out by Holland. Dolezal gets it away from Dolan. Back to the point. Anderson shoots. That went upstairs. Berglund lets it go. Another one. Berglund goes in. Brbžiza goes down. The shot is there. Nylander goes in. They poke at it. And the whistle blows. Nobody likes Nylander. He's taking a poke in there, and nobody with a red shirt on him. I should have qualified that statement. No one with a red shirt on likes him at this point. He was poking away, doing everything to put the puck in the net.
You're forgiven. You're very excited, and why not? Everybody on their feet in the building. Brbžiza trying to reach for the puck, ends up with it long enough to get the whistle. Who can hear the whistle out there? Brbžiza fishing for it. Nylander with a couple of extra chops. The Czechs are going to have to play better. It's all Sweden right now.
3:31 in the overtime period. 3-3 the score. The winner goes on to play against the winner of Canada-Russia for gold on Sunday. Popovich, an unorthodox save by the goaltender, and here comes Russell. Russell tees it up. Söderström makes the save, and that's tapped back behind the goal. The first shot on Tommy Söderström. Kassak lets another one go. That bounces right the side of the net. Söderström should have gloved that one down. And the Swedes, with three guys at the red line, move it up over the blue line, and everybody goes for a change out there. Long pass up on the boards to Russell as he tips it back. 4:07 with Naslund going in. Naslund takes the shot, gloved by Brbžiza from an impossible angle.
The Czechs still look uncertain. Brbžiza, the big boy right now, keeping him in there. It doesn't matter where you are on the ice. If you let the shot go, anything can happen. A sharp angle shot taken there, right into the glove of Brbžiza.
The key is to shoot. Baranek gets it back. Forsberg unable to contain that one, and the Czechs started up. The Swedes have been more powerful in this period. Shot all the way in. Söderström comes out, taps it, leaves it for Blomsten, who peppers that along the boards, and the Swedes quickly get it out of the zone. Kadlec up on the near side, gives it off to Kapusta. Kapusta comes out slowly. Kapusta switches wings and gets over his own blue line, hits the red, shoots it in, and the Swedes go back with Blomsten picking it up. Everyone on the Swedish team is on the near side. Now they're moving to the far side, switching wings. Forsberg took it over. That would have been offside, but Baranek brings it down. Long shot, just misses the far post. Blomsten takes it out. A good pass from him to Naslund. Naslund peppers it up. A chance for the Swedes now as Forsberg goes in. Anderson cruises out front, but the pass didn't come from Forsberg.
Forsberg had the defenseman down. The Czech defenseman committing himself early, leaving his feet. The play didn't come off as the Czechs got back in numbers.
5:25 gone on the overtime period. Tupal tips it forward. Not a great tip from him. Horan tries to get it through the eye of the needle, and that didn't work. The Swedes just pepper it out of the zone. Holland throws it to the far side. Herbeck looking to break in. Rundqvist steals it right off his stick and goes for a skate around the other side of the rink. Rundqvist up nicely. Rundqvist set that up. Big shot. Brbžiza goes down. The loose puck is there. Anderson is in the net. Brbžiza went down. Anderson went on top of him. A chance at the other end of the rink. Söderström made the save at the other end of the rink, and this is magnificent stuff.
One Anderson in one net, the other Anderson in the other net. Peter Anderson is hugging Söderström. Michael Anderson trying to pull himself off Peter Brbžiza at the other end of the rink. What action. Finally, the Czechs get a great shot off. Söderström was up for the occasion.
Janecki letting the big shot go, and again a very unorthodox save, but they don't care how they make the saves as long as they keep them out of the net. At the other end of the rink a moment ago, Brbžiza kind of drop-kicked one away from his crease. Hostak trying to get the shot right from the face-off. That's flipped high in the lights. Horva gloved it down. Hostak again comes up with the puck, puts it up to Kastak. And we're going to have a whistle.
Puck bouncing like crazy on the ice. The Czechs unable to get a handle on it. The Swedes still look sharper. They look fresher than the Czechs do.
No one has left this building. Oh, this one has been a close one. By far the best game of the competition. Still more to come with the semi-final tonight with Canada and Russia, and of course the big final on Sunday, the bronze on Saturday with the relegation match on Saturday too. The pass, a dangerous one right in front of Söderström. I wouldn't be too happy if I was Tommy on that play. The backhander in by Anderson. The Czechs with Gudas getting it as far as the hash marks. Kastak takes it deep, throws it to the far side. Hostak moves up the middle and gets the pass. Hostak hits the red. Hostak with Russell, and Russell is taken off the puck by Nylander. Nylander breaks it center, but the puck comes up on the right wing with Dolan. Dolan has been working hard throughout this competition, gives it to Nylander. Nylander gets it back. Åkerström takes the shot, and that's deflected away. The Swedes looking tired now with 7:09 gone in the overtime period. A loose puck is picked up by Baranek. The return pass does not get to him. Batted down there by Blomsten. He slid across like a goaltender. Herbeck spun around. Blomsten is there yet again. The Swedes in their own zone try to squeeze it out of the zone. They do. And Tupou has to go deep.
As soon as the play breaks down, when the Swedes are on the attack, the Czechs are so dangerous with the 2-on-1 opportunities or the quick long shot.
Baranek goes in behind the goal as the Czechs go for a change. This will give both teams an opportunity to put on fresh players. Janecki is out there as that comes up to Naslin. Naslin has a chance. The shot took a deflection off of Kadlec. Kadlec, who picked up the game-tying goal at 19:12 of the third period, throws it forward. 8:05 gone in the overtime period. Nilsson way back to defend for the Swedes. Herbeck goes in for the Czechs as that comes out to neutral ice territory. Kadlec is there. Kadlec taps it up. Dolezal to Staviana. Staviana, a weak shot into the corner. And that comes all the way back to the circle. Söderström had to make the save, and the Czechs pick it up again. Flipped right back into the side of the net. The loose puck is there. Herbeck couldn't contain that one on the right side. Back to Rundqvist. He takes the shot right in front. They score! Briza lost that one.
The Swedes celebrate. Briza not happy with himself. Playing outstanding hockey, making 7 saves. A lot of the action on him. Söderström had come up with a couple of good ones himself. Rundqvist over the blue line. Keeps the puck in the slot. Takes the shot. Briza has it momentarily, but it slips by him and trickles over the red line. A big goal for Thomas Rundqvist.
Farjusad said they didn't want him next year. He's hoping to go to Switzerland. Anybody in Switzerland watching? Whoa, I'm sure that he'll be getting phone calls after this game.
You've got to feel sorry for Briza. He's played so magnificently, unable to handle the shot. Rundqvist with the big overtime winner for Sweden. They'll have another chance to repeat as gold medalists.
Powerful performance from the Swedes. In this game, there were no losers. That's an old cliche, but really the Czech Republic were outstanding for well over 60 minutes. They've been outstanding in this entire tournament. And you got to give them credit. Ivan Hlinka putting together a magnificent squad, going all the way to the semifinals. Very unlucky to lose today, but the Swedes coming big in the overtime. Last year we saw them struggle throughout the preliminary round, grow in strength as they gathered their momentum and eventually win the gold medal. It looks like they're on their way again. They're in the final. The Canadians or the Russians, who will it be to join them on Sunday?
Hard to say at this point, but the Czechs have nothing to hang their heads about. They emerged as the winners in Group B, playing excellent hockey, getting this far, forcing the overtime, and just running out of steam. Rundqvist's shot being the decider. The Czechs, without a doubt, one of the top teams in the world, and they're going to continue to be so.